Welcome back to Sunrise. Now to the missile, hard to miss, but somehow the Australian Defence Force did. This torpedo washed up on a Gold Coast beach with the military called in to identify that it was indeed our own missile used in training exercises. The Seagulls knew what it was. The ADF does not know when or where it was used, and it comes as Chinese warships increasingly appear to be circumnavigating this country, now entering into the Great Australian Bight. So what on earth's happening? For their take, let's bring in Education Minister Jason Clare and Deputy Opposition Leader Sussan Lee. Good morning, Jason.
Morning.
What's going on with defence? We've got the Chinese doing bog laps of the country and then we've got the missile showing up on the beach and no one knows where it came from.
Well, it's a practice torpedo. It's no danger to the public, but Defence are investigating why the beacon didn't go off. I guess it's as simple as that. With the Chinese, what they did last week was unsafe. We've called that out on this show before. When it's in the air, it's the same on the sea. We're monitoring them. They're legally allowed to be there. We're up there more than they're down here.
It's a bit weird, though, that they're just, like, tracking around the country, isn't it, or not?
Well, they've done this before. The key thing is that we keep a close eye on them, and that's what we're doing.
OK. Sussan, Peter Dutton says Anthony Albanese is out of his depth on national security. Is that really a fair comment,
Well, he seems to be, Nat. This is the third week, I think, on Sunrise that we're talking about this issue. We had Chinese jets, flares going to our own aircraft. Jason said I was being political in condemning that. Now we've got the Chief of the Defence Force contradicting the Prime Minister in our Senate estimates process about the timing and the warnings of these live firing exercises. And it's not good enough. We need strong condemnation from the Prime Minister and strong leadership that this is absolutely not acceptable to fire flares at our aircraft. The warning that came from the Tasman Sea was actually from a Virgin aircraft pilot, and it didn't appear that the knowledge and the transmission of what was going on was even out there at all. And then you have the Prime Minister just kind of muddling through his explanations and answers. No condemnation, no clear leadership. Is
the Prime Minister tough enough on this, Jason?
Yeah, that's just rubbish. We have condemned it. We've called it out. We've said that to the Chinese directly, and we're not going to take lectures from the Liberal Party on this. Remember 3 years ago, the Chinese moved into the Solomon Islands and the former Liberal government under Scott Morrison and Peter Dutton didn't do a thing. Peter Dutton's good at yelling and screaming. He's not very good at doing anything real. He was the Defence Minister of Australia when the Chinese moved into the Solomon Islands. So we're not going to take lectures from the Liberal Party.
So, Jason, why did the Chief of Defence contradict the Prime Minister in Senate estimates? That's making a strong, clear statement that the Prime Minister actually hasn't informed the Australian people about when we were informed about these live-fire exercises.
So you didn't answer my question there about what you did
because your
with
question
the Solomon
relates
Islands.
to another time and another issue.
Oh, is that ancient history too, is it?
With respect, this is about now. This is about what's happening now with Chinese warships going around our coast, and Australians are rightly concerned, and they want to see that strong leadership. And Nat, we want a positive and constructive relationship with China, of course we do, and we value incredibly our amazing Chinese diaspora community. But this, from the Chinese Communist Party, is not good enough.
I'll tell you what strong leadership isn't. Sitting on your hands and doing nothing when the Chinese moved into the Solomon Islands. When Peter Dutton had power, he did absolutely nothing.
OK. Let's look for the weekend, because lots of people are wondering, how they should be planning it, whether they should be washing their hair, whether they should be, going to a party,
What are you doing now?
What their plans should be. Should we block out the whole weekend? Any announcements coming, Jason?
Well, it's Albo's birthday on Sunday.
Besides that?
Yeah, so happy birthday to him.
Exactly.
You're asking when the election is. We don't know, but we know that it's going to be sometime between now and May 17.
So this weekend or next weekend? If you were a betting man, what would you say? If you were?
I'm not. I'm telling you, it's going to be sometime between now and May 17. Aussies will have a choice. Do we move forward under Labor or do we go backwards under the Liberal Party? Two big things happened this week. The Labor Party announced the biggest investment ever in Medicare to make sure that more Aussies can see a doctor for free.
Yep.
And we learned a lot about Peter Dutton.
We're not starting the campaign now until you guys press the starting gun. So
you're just teasing.
You tell us when. Have you heard anything in the halls of Parliament when it's going to
I haven't, Nat, and happy birthday to the Prime Minister. It's also the Treasurer's birthday on Sunday. I hope he gets time to spend with his family. These are big tasks that we all have, but the best birthday present would be calling an election. We are absolutely ready. We are absolutely ready to get rid of this awful Labor
Hang on,
government.
last week you said you wanted to delay the election. You wanted Parliament to go back.
Well, I want the election to come on. I want the Australian people to have their say. And
So
as
you-
I move around
so
the
you
country,
disagree with Peter Dutton?
everybody is saying to me, bring it on, bring it on. We want to have our say. And I don't think that they're very happy with the government right now.
I think they learned a lot about the
Okay.
character of Peter Dutton. He had his Scott Morrison Hawaii moment this
Okay.
week when the country was on
Look,
fire.
I told you, you can't
and he was
do this
thinking
until
about
there's an
himself.
election. We've got to go. See you next week. Maybe we'll be in election mode. Here's Chevo.